Welcome to the Cozy Circuit. I'm your co-host, Sarah Jane.
First of all, Sarah just introduced this podcast as the Crazy Circuit, and that is not our name. Let's just run it back. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Or is it really a welcome back? I guess it is a welcome back.
We're Hulken-back, baby.
We're Hulken-back, okay? We are now the Cozy Circuit.
Ta-da!
Today we're going to be talking about the Miami Grand Prix. Strap in, because it's
a chaotic one.
It's a long one, okay? Sarah just came back from vacation from Florida.
Yes,
But
I was a week
not
off.
for the Miami Grand Prix, okay? It's a lot, so please enjoy. I'm kind of excited, a little bit emotional,
Yeah.
because it's our first time recording and we're back.
We are!
I'm happy, but I just looked at your glasses on your bucket hat, and it just... What's going on there? What's this whole thing going on?
So we got the Miami Grand Prix bucket hat from last year, the Beat the Street.
Okay.
And so I thought, you know what? Rep the merch and also try and hide my really bad hat hair.
I see we are rocking our Furious Motorsports
We are.
jerseys.
I mean, I would be wearing my Norris one, but it's in the wash at the moment.
I'm like very excited. That was an exciting race.
It was.
Not for McLaren fans.
I'm glad that none of the drivers DNF'd this time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at least in the race itself.
Yeah.
Bombastic side eye.
Do you have like a specific favorite moment from the race today?
Well, there were countless undertakes in that one corner before you head into either the pits or onto the main straight, which I was very, very happy about.
Do you mean like the hairpin turn, or do you mean like that kind of just rounded just before the straight?
That rounded one just before the little...
I think that's like turn 19. There are a lot of good overtakes this race.
Were. And I'm really happy about it.
Here we have Sarah getting ready. I think there's something that we should all know, and I think it's very apparent. I obviously put a lot more makeup on than Sarah does, so it takes me a lot longer to get ready for filming than it does for Sarah. At like lap 47, I was like, holy shit, the race is almost over, I gotta get ready.
You know what? I was the complete opposite. I was like, oh, the race is finished. That's it. And me and my brother were like, mm-hmm. So we were just watching the rest of the coronation concert. It had just finished, and we were just like, okay, well, bye. Said bye to my brother and my my brother's fiance.
I was like, oh,
No.
really? I was like, we missed a chapter since taking a break. We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
What was your favorite moment of the race?
It was Charles's really, really late undertake on Kevin Magnussen on that turn 19.
Funny enough, my favorite moment of the race, I promise, I am still a Charles Leclerc fan, okay? So I think it's on like lap 3. K-Mag overtook Charles Leclerc, right? Then Charles Leclerc retakes the position. And then DRS opens, Max Verstappen and Kevin Magnussen both overtake Charles Leclerc at the same time. And I was like, I can't even be mad. It was such a good race.
It was. I mean, it was better than last year's Miami. Because of, like, I think last year's Miami was very overhyped, so it had to meet a lot of expectations, but it didn't, because obviously it was a new track, there were more accidents that were happening.
There was fake water, you know, the whole shebang.
Yeah, and then everyone's just like, oh, we're used to Miami now. But as much of a non-Red Bull fan, I have to say, the Max Verstappen double overtake on K-Mac and on Leclerc, I was like, he did not. He did not.
It's actually funny because I started scripting this moment in my head of what I was going to talk about on the podcast. I was going to say, I know you're not a Max Verstappen fan, but tell me that wasn't good racing.
I mean, I have to say, I have to take my hat off to Max Verstappen this race.
Am I going to buy a new jersey?
Girl, I swear to God.
I'm joking. Okay, but honestly, like, I feel like I could wear a lot of different drivers' jerseys.
I mean, I'm thinking of investing into another one.
I don't want to say I'm a neutral, unbiased fan, because that's totally not true. I definitely have my favorites.
We all do.
And I think that that's what makes it fun is that, like, you know, you cheer on someone other than the other person, and
Oh yeah,
I think it's fun. However, Furious Motorsports really did set that trend because all the Miami merch were
They
like
kinda did.
knockoffs. They were almost knockoffs of Furious Motorsports.
Exactly. Like I saw the Ferrari ones, and I was like, hold on, I've got that in my wardrobe, but better.
Side eye, Puma.
Like-
Side eye.
Quite legit.
I know that Furious Motorsports is like baseball jerseys and
Basketball jerseys.
basketball jerseys, yes. But in the cool down room, did you see their football jerseys were like identical to what the Furious Motorsports released like weeks ago?
Yeah. Are they like at least getting paid for having these?
You know what? Good for them for getting to go to the race, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. Maybe that's the reason why they went. Because they were like, oh yeah, we're going to rep the merch. They wore all of the shirts that they have, like on the website, because obviously they're the owners. They were like, oh yeah, we're just going to rep every single shirt we have.
I'm gonna wear just the other jersey. Honestly, though, genuinely, I am debating on making another jersey purchase because, like, I can't just be wearing Lance Stroll for the rest of the year. He did pretty well, in my opinion. From
He
18th, let me preface this. I am a Lance Stroll fan, okay? I am. However, I personally did not think that he was going to get through the middle field at all.
I mean, he got into the points, didn't he?
No, he didn't. However, he started on hards and did a very, very late pit stop. I can't remember what lap it was on. Honestly, I didn't write it down because I honestly didn't have hope that he was even going to make it back from like I think he got into like P16, P17 when he came out of the pits. P16, P17. He was fighting Lando Norris. Lando did not stand a chance, unfortunately, out of the pit. I thought that he was going to stay behind. He did. I thought that he was going to stay like relatively close to the bottom of the grid because he did a very late pit stop after everyone.
Yeah.
And then two, the back of the grid was like set apart by like lots of seconds. The fact that he had the pace, had the opportunity to overtake, and executed those opportunities, I'm surprised he even caught up to Yuki because by the time that the race finished and Max passed the finish line, I want to say that Lance was like maybe 0.8 of a second behind Yuki. So he went from like 5 seconds behind Yuki to 0.8. Honestly, he did a really good job. Starting in P18, working all the way back up to the points, and then fighting all the way back up to P12.
I mean, I was hella proud of them. Like, I was proud of all of them. Like, they all fought really hard. Some of them may have got the positions that they didn't expect to have in terms of how Sargent stayed at the back of the pack the whole entire race, basically, which was a bit sad because I was like,
I'm very disappointed, and I wrote this in the group chat. I put, what the fuck is happening to Logan Sargent? Like, why is he so far behind? One of our friends responded and said, oh, it's because he did a pit stop to change his front wing. I'm like, that was at the beginning of the race. We are at the end of the race, and he was like,
he had all that time.
The gap at the time that I had made those comments, he was 22 seconds behind P19. But my first thought was, where is the pace? I know that Williams doesn't have the fastest car, but at the time, like, Alex Albon was like still very much fighting with the mix of everyone. Logan was 22 seconds behind the fight. After that, though, the very end of the race, though, he was maybe like 7 seconds behind. So he definitely gains a lot of pace at the end of the race. But I just wish that he had found it earlier on.
Yeah. I mean, like, I felt really sad for him because obviously it's his home race, like his home state race as well. His whole family are basically there to go and watch him, like, absolutely dominate, and it just wasn't his day.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a George Russell in a Williams at the moment. Like, he still hasn't got points yet in the season. But, however, we are 4 races in and we've got 23 races this year.
Are we 4 races in? 5 races in.
5 races in now.
5 races in.
But yeah, he still has like some races to like try and catch up to the others. Like,
you know, just like 17.
Let's just hope that from now on, then he can maybe pick up the pace and just up his performance, because I think he will become like, everyone will be really, really proud of him when he starts getting the points.
I'm wondering if it's because he's just a rookie in I don't want to call it a non-competitive car.
Yeah, I mean, they are kind of like the mid-pack.
I mean, of course they're in the midfield. Alex clearly is able to extract everything he can out of the car, so I don't want to call it a non-competitive car, like a lesser competitive car.
Yeah, I have to say, like, De Vries and also Sargent, with them both being rookies, obviously there is another rookie. Well, Piastri, De Vries, and Sargent aren't doing as well.
Piastri has points, though.
Yeah, but that was from a really tricky race, but also a race with a lot of DNFs that happened.
At least he has points.
Yeah. I mean, no hate towards Piastri. I support him. I support all the rookies because obviously they're just beginners and they're going against like all these people who have been racing it for God knows how long.
I mean, Fernando Alonso's been racing the longest, and he's been racing for longer than Oscar's been born, so.
Exactly.
Or just as long as Oscar's been alive, so I think that's a great
exactly.
A great example.
But like with Sargent and Albon, with their differences, obviously Albon I would say he had the experience of racing in Miami beforehand, so he kind of knows the track, and also he's been racing in F1 since, I want to say 2019, because obviously that was when they were doing the rookie season. But yeah, like Sargent is doing well compared with for a rookie. De Vries, obviously he's been in racing for I don't know how long, but he isn't performing as well as his teammate Tsunoda. Like Tsunoda is in 11th, De Vries is in 18th.
Okay, let's back up a little bit, because it wasn't that long ago that Yuki was doing questionably.
Exactly.
I think that with the right mindset and the right training and experience, like obviously time will only tell, but I think that it comes to them. It either comes to you or it doesn't, and we've seen that obviously with drivers. Sorry to all the drivers who had a stint in Formula One and just the team decided that they weren't good enough to keep around.
Girl.
I'm just saying that, like, I think there are exceptions. I think that some people have talent and we're in a very shitty situation, like a very poor car. But I think that there are other drivers who showed a lot of potential but still couldn't extract enough out of the car to perform. We've seen people like Alex Albon, George Russell, Pierre Gasly all drive in lesser competitive cars and still make it to the point. So I think that there is hope. There's all so many different variables. Like, I just wonder where that line is drawn, that it's like, okay, like this is it for me. You know, like this is what pushes them over to be a competitive driver. Because I wouldn't consider Logan right now to be a competitive driver. I would consider Nick De Vries partially competitive, because he did, you know, when he was the reserve driver, did win points.
Yeah. But that was when Latifi was there. So
I wasn't going to name names of drivers. I hope he's doing well.
Yes, I hope he's got his little Nutella factory in Canada.
You and I are the same person, because I sent that in the group chat. That I hope that he's enjoying all of the Nutella.
But the thing is, like, obviously all these drivers, they're all performing so well. And there are cars this year who are outperforming their performance from last year. Like Alonso in an Aston Martin, unthinkable, but it happened. He's doing well.
It's totally a combination though, because Fernando Alonso has always been a fantastic driver. We already know that. He's been racing for 22 years. We know that already.
Thanks Piastri for letting us know how old you are, so we know how long Alonso's been in racing.
It's refreshing to see him in a highly competitive car, because the Aston Martins, while they can't keep up with the Red Bulls, they're clearly outperforming Mercedes, Ferrari a lot more consistently than not.
From last season, they have really bumped up their game, because obviously last year they made the really big mistake of having a very wide car with very big side pods, which is what I think McLaren has kind of made a clone of from last year's Aston Martin. But yeah, it seems like they've kind of duplicated the Aston Martin car from last year to a McLaren. I'm like, they thought that they could do well. They should have just stuck with their car design, so they can actually get a lot more points and try and outperform at least the Alpines, Alfa Tauri, Alfa Romeo, Haas. I'm becoming depressed here.
I am going to send McLaren my therapy bills pretty soon. Let's rewind a little bit, because you mentioned Haas. Haas this year is, I wouldn't say obviously the most competitive, but they are doing surprisingly better.
It's because Hulken's back, baby.
This is true, because K-Mag unfortunately has been outperformed by Hulken-back quite a few times. I think that had Charles Leclerc not red flagged the qualifying session, I think we would have been able to see a more true grid start. But congratulations to K-Mag for being top 4, baby.
I mean, I'm really proud of how the Haas boys have been doing, because from like their previous years, they haven't been having the best seasons. And then as soon as Hulken-back comes back, and because he's been teammates with Magnussen before.
Have they? I thought they were rivals. No, they were rivals.
Oh no, they were rivals before, but they still had that kind of like, they're kind of like the same age anyway, so they kind of had like, they kind of push each other anyway from like being previous rivals. So they kind of have that kind of drive. Pardon the pun.
I'm gonna have to insert the video of K-Mag saying, "Suck my balls, mate."
Exactly.
Once again, most unsportive driver of the
Suck
grid.
my balls, mate.
Yeah.
He is so fun. Honestly, this whole week has just been funny.
It has.
Off the track, on the track, like...
Oh, 100%. There was content that I was not expecting. But was I disappointed? Of course not. I'm never disappointed in the content.
Speaking of content, an honorable mention to content is the IndyCar drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious. I didn't know everyone was a comedian in IndyCar. All of a sudden, maybe it's not all of a sudden, and because it's my first year watching IndyCar, but my first year watching IndyCar, and I'm like, wow, this driver's really good. I'm focusing on their driving because I'm still trying to learn the sport.
Yeah.
And then I jump on Formula One Twitter, and here is Colton Herta and Joseph Newgarden just cracking jokes. I didn't know it was a requirement to be a comedian to be an IndyCar driver.
They are all very funny. And especially when a little minor inconvenience happens. Like when, I think it was either F1 or McLaren mistaken the...
It's F1, Alex Palou, F1. Yes.
They mistook Alex Palou for your favourite.
Pato.
Yeah. He sends a tweet. I think, was it Twitter?
It's a tweet. I will insert a screenshot here.
So it was like on Twitter. He's like at F1. I'm right here. I'm in Mexico. I'm at home.
The funniest thing is that I watched everything live. So I watched F1 show Alex Palou, and Alex Palou is McLaren's reserve driver for this year. He's also an IndyCar driver. However, last year, Pato O'Ward was the reserve driver for McLaren. He did the practice session in Abu Dhabi. He is not a reserve driver this year for McLaren. He is still an IndyCar driver for McLaren, but he is not the reserve.
Yeah. I think it's because he has been he's been more focused on his Indy racing than he has with being an actual like reserve driver and stuff. But
and honestly, good for him.
Like he's focusing on his career. Like he's not thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to be like the side person just in case like McLaren need me in F1. He's doing really, really well in IndyCar. Like I'm very proud of him for that. And I'm very proud of all of them actually. And especially in Formula E as well. Like McLaren FE have been doing extraordinary.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So hats off to them.
I think that Pato is I think the best way to describe it, he's in that growth period as a driver of like him mastering his craft. And I think we see that in a lot of the younger Formula One drivers and IndyCar drivers, of course, but they're in that period where they're no longer a rookie. They've definitely got some wins under their belt. They've got some great experience under their belt, but they haven't experienced it all, like they haven't been racing as long as people like Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton. They haven't been put in certain situations where they know what the best strategy to take is. Yeah. And I think that goes for teams as well. I think that obviously the teams have a call on strategy. The drivers as well have to use their experience to say whether or not that strategy works, because we saw that today with Lewis Hamilton, where we saw the pit wall saying what the strategy was and Lewis Hamilton fighting back and saying, I don't think that's going to work. Yeah. I don't think that this can last that long. We've seen Lewis do this in the past, but I think that he truly does have a good handle on certain situations and knowing how far he can push a car. And I think that he was fantastic today. Like, he obviously fought at the lower half of the points. But we got to see him be a great teammate, which after everything in the whole Mercedes era, it's refreshing to see Lewis be a good teammate, one, but also being the support teammate. And I love to see that. I think that he deserves to be obviously a world champion again. I don't think he's in the car to do it today, unfortunately, but I loved seeing the team telling him, you're not fighting George, you need to fight Esteban Ocon. Yeah. And Lewis saying, okay, well, George can go through, but I'm not going to not fight him. That is admirable, one, as a driver who's been driving for a very long time. He has the experience. He's not
like, he doesn't fuck around.
And he's not just accepting it. Like, he's not just accepting the team order. And I think we see that with Red Bull a lot, but it's refreshing to see between like Lewis and George. George is starting to prove himself that he can perform at the same level as Lewis in equal machinery. Obviously, he has a lot to learn from Lewis.
Yeah, I think you also see that a lot in like the like very young driver and with a very much older teammate. Like you see that a lot with like Alonso and Stroll, because they are so like, it melts my heart every single time. Like Alonso's always trying to like, he's always on the microphone saying like, oh yeah, how's Lance doing? Like, and
it is every race at this point. And
he really is Uncle Fernando Alonso.
Oh my god, I think we all know at this point, I'm obviously an Aston Martin fan. I love the dynamic.
You don't say.
You don't say. Oh, that's not even the Aston part. I'm sorry. You don't say. My bad. We're not showing the flag. Anyways, I was trying to say, it's obviously apparent that I love Aston Martin, but like, I think that I love them so much because of the team dynamic. A lot of it has to do with Lance's dad owning the team and Lance knowing that whoever comes onto this team, he has to make it work with them. Like, there's no... And I don't think that Lance ever is like, I don't want to work with this driver, but he definitely has a lot to learn from all these world champions coming on his team. But I love the relationship between Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll.
Like, you also see it with like Bottas and Zoe as well.
I haven't seen it.
Like, I think it's very rare to actually see it, but I think you do see it in like videos that they have to do and stuff. Like Bottas is always very like comforting towards Zoe, because obviously Zoe is still quite new-ish to the sport. Obviously he's been in the sport for a second year. And Bottas is like, I've been bumped down from like Mercedes to Alfa Romeo, but I'm going to take everything that I have and still support whoever my teammate is. Obviously, like with him and Hamilton, they're still like, they're kind of still teammates at heart. Like when they were passing each other today, I think I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
It was a very sweet moment to watch the two of them fighting. I mean, obviously it wasn't like a very high place, like a podium or anything, but it warmed my heart to see the two of them getting to fight. Because I don't think, for a few years, I don't think that they got to do that.
Yeah, because obviously you had Hamilton as the star of Mercedes, and then you just had Bottas, who everyone loved, but weren't showing it as much as they were with Hamilton.
I think it's a little disappointing, I'm not gonna lie, and I hope that I don't want to even think so far ahead as to like when Sauber becomes Audi, but I hope to see that Valtteri is in a competitive car, because I know that he absolutely can do well.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually talking to one of our friends, good old K-Dog. She was asking me like what my opinions were.
I'm sorry. She's going to absolutely hate that you called her that.
But yeah, like she asked me, oh yeah, like what do you think about like, because obviously she hasn't been in the sport that much, she's just started this year, and she's asking me like, oh yeah, what do you think about like the future, because obviously she's quite into Formula 2 as well. And I just think, well, I think like Ollie Beerman, I think he's got a lot of potential for being in Ferrari when maybe Sainz. I think he might get chosen to be in Audi when they become a full-fledged team.
Okay, I didn't watch Formula 2. Did they have a race this weekend? They did it, right?
No.
He killed it in Baku. Like, what is in his water? Because he won in every event that weekend.
He's taking smart water.
Who's his water sponsor? I would like to purchase some.
Same. Yeah, like, I'm very proud of what he's accomplished at the age of 17 in Formula 2 when he's going against all these other racers. Some of them are younger than him, some of them are like much more older than him. And I'm like, yo, he's killing the game. Like
in his rookie season.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, he's a rookie. And also he's going against all these kids who've been in Formula 2 for like maybe 2 years, maybe 3. And like, he's killing it. Like he got first in all the practices. He got pole position in qualifying. And then he wins the race.
Not just the race, sprint, the feature. What?
Don't even.
Obviously, there were some unfortunate events that happened in Azerbaijan in Formula 2. It was very scary. Oh, yeah. I did not like to watch it, but Ollie Beerman really did pull through, and I think that made the race for me. So
Yeah.
I think that he is someone to watch.
He's definitely one for the books. Like, he is top notch. He is great talent. Like, he killed the game ultimately when he was in F3. Now he's in F2. He's killing the game even more. And when he maybe comes to F1, which I hope he does, because of all the teams are definitely eyeing up him to be picked, to like pick him up and be like, yo, we want you on your team in F1.
He's a part of the Ferrari driving academy, right?
Yeah. So he could go to like Ferrari or I want to say Alfa Romeo. But yeah, I'm just like going off the teams that Leclerc was in because of he was also in the Ferrari academy.
I just don't think that Sauber's going to pick him up for 2026.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly,
I think that definitely. I feel like Ferrari is definitely maybe gonna like eye him up and be like, "Yo, we want you on the team for like Ferrari."
I'm hoping so. I know that we're thinking really far out because obviously Carlos and Charles Leclerc, they both have contracts out till 2024. Personally, I don't see Ferrari letting go of Charles Leclerc regardless of the mistakes that he's making this year. I think that he's just having a really tough year, but I don't think that Ferrari is going to let him go. Like, I don't think they'll cut his contract short, but I could be wrong because Valtteri was doing very well at Mercedes and still got cut.
It's because of Mercedes was thinking, okay, we're going to pick up the talent from George, and they did, and he is outperforming Hamilton in his second year being with that team, and I'm like,
this is true, but I'm wondering if Valtteri could have done the same.
I feel like he could have.
I think it's possible, but it's hard to say now because obviously Valtteri and Lewis were in a very good car. They're no longer in that great of a car, but the pace just wasn't there for Mercedes today.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think that Russell has more drive than Bottas did because obviously Russell was very used to driving like a very like midfield performing car through his career in F1. And then he finally gets picked up by the big dogs in Mercedes. And I'm like, finally he's got the chance. He's going to fight for it, which he is. And he's outperforming his teammate who is a 7-time world champion. And like when he got his win last year in Brazil, I was over the moon. Not just because I'm British, but also because of like, I was just happy for him because obviously I saw how much it was defeating him when he was in a Williams. And then he finally gets the chance and he wins that race. And I'm like, I'm happy for him.
You know that George isn't my favorite driver on the grid.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite to watch. Like, I think I get very frustrated watching him race. I think that your love for him being British helps with that frustration. Like, you obviously don't get frustrated like I do because he's one of your favorite drivers. So it masks you a little bit from the pain. But like, as someone he's not my favorite driver. Like, I don't hate, like, he's not my least favorite driver by any means. And I love to see him in Formula One. But there's something, I don't know what it is. I'm sure I will think of it later. But like, No, I am. I'm sure I'm going to think of the actual reason why I don't like watching him race or why it frustrates me so much. But
yeah. I think it's because of when he's in the car, he can be a bit cocky sometimes. I'm not going to lie, he is a bit cocky when he's in the car.
I think that he's just involved in so many incidents that maybe aren't necessarily within his control, but he's just always involved that I'm just like, why? Why? It's like that scene from Harry Potter when Professor McGonagall is like, why is it that it's always you three? Why is it that it's always George Russell?
Yes!
Ugh!
I'm like...
He's a fantastic racer. Do not get me wrong. I think that George is a fantastic driver. I think he's very skilled, very well deserving. But there's something about him that I'm like, why, George? Why did you do that? Why were you involved?
He's definitely a bit of a Mr. Finnegan in in Harry Potter. He's always up for the explosion. But yeah.
He's Harry Potter!
No. Harry Potter is Charles Leclerc. He is the main character. He dresses how he wants, but does he look good all the time? Questionable. But we're not here about fashion.
I disagree. I think that Lewis Hamilton's the main character.
Yeah, 100%.
He looked like he was wearing a cloak when he walked in today. Not my favorite outfit from Lewis Hamilton. He is a fashion king, I know, but that outfit today, I was like, that's a choice.
I mean, I'm not sure if you saw it on the group chat.
Oh, I saw it. I know what you're talking about. What the hell was that?
The amount of sparkles reminded me of Lil Nas X at the Met Gala this year. And was I disappointed in my choice of words and my choice of thought? No, not at all.
I will be putting up a picture.
Kind of does sparkle like that troll in Trolls.
I'm sorry if you're listening to this on Spotify, but if you watch this on YouTube, I am putting up reference photos of what we are discussing. I promise.
With an F1, I won't talk about fashion that much, but I will when it comes to atrocious outfits. Like,
what the hell was Charles Leclerc's pants tonight?
Exactly. Why did he go for all red? Like, he went for the red Ferrari shirt.
That's his lucky pants.
But the shoes, he could have gone for white shoes. But did he? No, he went for, I'm gonna go for red to go with the whole outfit.
Maybe that's his Ferrari shoes. Like Ferrari Puma shoes.
I don't think they were. I think they were just full like red Nikes or something that he got from like Sports Direct.
But then what are those other pants? Those like tie-dye looking pants?
Oh, I actually like those. I don't know why.
I don't like them with the blue shirt.
Yeah, they kind of clashed.
I am by no means a fashionista, okay?
Exactly,
no fashion experts here. However, what was that?
I mean, I can question about the fashion choices of all of the drivers this weekend. Like, you had some of them that slayed, and some of them that was just like, no, that could have stayed at home. Like, not gonna lie, I have to say, Yuki slayed that little outfit that he pulled off. Like,
Yuki was a vibe.
Slay! Like, when it comes to repping merch, Yuki always knows how to, like, pair the outfits perfectly. To a f***ing T.
Did you know that Yuki has a YouTube channel?
I did. I follow it.
It's called YukiTube. I saw it yesterday, like... Actually, it was this morning, I'm not gonna lie. I was up till 3 a.m. this morning. I found it because I was trying to watch the video of Yuki and Daniel Ricciardo on the little Red Bull mini boats, and the recommended video was YukiTube, and I was like, YukiTube? YukiTube! I was like, subscribe!
He posted this like, the day in his life, and it was from, I think it was from Saudi Arabia, and he was with his his PT, sorry.
Can you share what PT is for people who don't know what PT is?
PT means personal trainer.
I'm glad I asked you that because I was going to say that it was physical trainer.
So personal trainer is like your own like personal gym person, your gym buddy, basically.
So can we say that Michael is his performance coach? Would that be considered the same as a personal trainer?
Yeah, you've got a performance coach which will do a few more things than what a PT does. But like, because obviously with a personal coach, performance coach, sorry, they will do things like they will do the massaging, like relaxing the muscles and stuff.
Does the performance coaches not do that? I thought that the performance coaches did do that. Or is it that performance coaches can be both the performance coach and the physical trainer?
Yeah, so they also help with like doing reaction times as well. So they will like, so you know how when the drivers are like training out their necks and stuff, they'll be the one that will be pulling on their necks with that headgear. They're basically their personal trainer, just to like basically train up the driver for their upcoming races and just helping them perform even more better than they will be than last time. But yeah, so Yuki's first video that he posted, oh my god, it was my favorite because obviously he, like me, is a Taurus. So he hates exercise just as much as I do. He would rather sleep in or eat food than exercise. But yeah, like I just love him.
Sorry, I'm looking at my notes trying to find like, do I have a favorite moment in Miami?
I just have to say it was the little speedboats because I love how they made that comment. Oh yeah, they're Yuki size, and then even Yuki made that comment. Like I was like, that's such a Yuki thing to do. Like us Tauruses love to make fun of our own like issues because obviously I'm not the tallest person in my family at all. I'm literally the shortest.
I don't know how many centimeters I am shorter than you, but like Sarah says this as if I'm not 5 inches shorter than her. I'm like an entire foot shorter than her brother. Foot into something.
So my oldest brother is 6'11".
Sorry, almost 2 feet.
Yeah, basically almost 2 feet taller than Kim.
I'm gonna put a little reference photo. I keep saying that I'm gonna make content like every time we go out and take the Ferrari out. Never happens. Every single time I get in that car, I get so lazy to make any content.
Oh, same. Sometimes it even slips my mind. I'm like, wait, I was supposed to make content today. It was the same with me with being at Disney and Universal whilst I was on holiday, because I completely forgot to make like a TikTok where it's supposed to be with the sound, oh, something's wrong with my legs. And I go like this, and I go like this, and I end up at the liquor store. And it's supposed to like pan up to like the Disney castle. But I completely forgot to make it.
So my little microphones came in the mail recently.
Yes. My favorite thing.
So I plan on making content. I do. I promise. I want to say I post more of the car stuff like on my Instagram, but I don't post anything on Instagram at all.
Yeah, she really doesn't. I know from experience because I am her best friend on Instagram.
It's like she has my post notifications on because she sees everything.
Okay,
I'm like thinking, she really doesn't. She does. I'm just making a joke. I really post more on TikTok than I do on Instagram. So
yeah. I see when you do like something from like Pato though. I'm like,
funny enough, I really don't have post notifications on for Pato. I do for like all the Formula One drivers, so I'm up to date on the most current news.
I don't even have that. I'm just always on my
well, I have to do it because I'm so far behind in time zones. They post it when I'm sleeping, obviously. When I wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, like hours have passed since they posted it already, and I'm never going to see it. It's never going to pop up on my feed in that order, so I have to set notifications so I can see like what news came out.
Yeah.
It's rough being so far apart.
We just love time zones.
I have to ask Sarah like once a month what time it is where she is.
Exactly.
Even though I have the world clocks on my phone.
On my world clock, right, I actually have your clock on it, so I know, like, so say if I was going to send you a text or something, I would look at it just to be like, will she be awake? Oh, yeah, she will.
Sarah and our other friend always look at the clock before they text. However, my phone is on Do Not Disturb like 98% of the time. And the other 2% of the time that it's not on Do Not Disturb is when I'm talking to them. They think they're going to bother me, but I'm not even going to hear the notification. We've gone so far off on a tangent that I have no idea where we are.
I mean, we could talk about the starting grid and the finishing grid.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what the starting grid was and where they ended on the grid?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, I do have notes, everyone, about the whole entire race.
Mine's on my phone because I literally cannot write fast enough.
Neither can I, but that's what fast forward and rewinding is for.
The thing is that I paused the race live so many times that I'm like, Sarah's gonna finish the race before me. I gotta speed the up. So that at the very end, like during the podium is when I speed up so that I can watch. I was still kind of late today to recording, but it works out because you didn't respond to me until I was done.
I mean, it's because I had my family over. And also, we're watching the coronation concert. Congratulations to King Charles for becoming the actual coronated King, Charles III of England.
Not to be mistaken by Charles Leclerc, Lord Percival. Thank you so
Our
much.
favourite is Lord Percival, though. That is our King Charles.
We say in Lord Percival we trust. However, I did not trust him today.
Father, Son, and Lord Percival, please, next race, please help Charles.
That's a lot. You're asking for a lot there, girl.
Lord, please listen to me.
You are asking for a lot, girl.
I beg for Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and also the Papaya Boys to be doing well. Thank you.
Now you're asking for like way too much.
Asking. When I have to ask, I will ask for it. I will not around.
Why don't you read us the starting grid and where each person ended on the grid at the end of the race?
Okie dokie. So, the starting grid of the Miami Grand Prix this weekend. So we had Sergio Perez, who finished in second. We had Fernando Alonso, who started in second, finished in third. Carlos Sainz Jr. started in third, ended in fifth. Kevin Magnussen, who started in fourth, ended in 10th. Pierre Gasly in fifth, all the way down to 8th. George Russell from 6th to 4th. So he bumped up the hat, didn't he? Good on you, Russell. We love you. Well, I do at least.
I don't hate him. I don't hate George Russell. He's not my favorite driver, okay?
My heart beats for the British drivers.
It really does. She's not joking.
It really does. Charles Leclerc started in 7th, ended in 7th.
He really saved himself there, honestly.
He really did. Esteban Ocon in 8th to 9th. So he only went down one place. Not much to cry about if you're an SD Bestie fan. Max Verstappen, all the way from 9th to 1st. So congratulations, Max Verstappen, for going from 9th to 1st within 15 laps. Good on you, I guess.
Not Sarah's favorite driver.
Sorry. It's because... Okay. And then we had Valtteri Bottas starting in 10th all the way to 13th. So sad times for Bottas, but we'll recover. We'll recover, Valtteri Bottas fans. Alex Albon, our favourite golf head this weekend, from 11th to 14th.
No comment. No comment. Love you, Alex.
Yep. Nico Hulken-back from 12th. All the way to 15th.
Why?
Or shall I go with the Daniel Ricciardo? Nico Hulkenback. He went from 12th all the way to 15th today. Also, again, if you're a Nico Hulkenberg fan, Daniel Ricciardo, I know you're listening. Lewis Hamilton started from 13th and ended in 6th. Zhou Guanyu started from 14th, ended in 16th. Only 2 places down. Inserted here, coming down my face.
That face you made. That face you made. I feel like there's no air in this room and there's like just gas.
This is why the Cozy Circuit is the best podcast to listen to and watch. Because we are chaotic as
I hope you're also sitting on your couch and enjoying this chat that we're having. I'm not sitting on the couch, obviously. I'm in my office.
I'm sitting on what should be a couch chair, but it is not, because I moved it from downstairs to my bedroom, which was a pain in the ass.
Anyways, moving on.
So we have Mr. Nick De Vries, or Debris, in everyone's faces. Mine's. Started from 15th, ended in 18th.
Better than 20th, because he was in 20th for a little bit.
This next one pains me. Lando Norris from 16th to 17th. I'm crying on the inside, by the way. Because I cannot cry right now because I don't want my mascara to run. We have Mr. Yukos Sonodals from...
Why did you say his name like that?
I'm sorry, hold on. We have Mr. Yuki Tsunoda, or Yuki Tube Tsunoda, from 17th to 11th. So good on you, Tsunoda. I'm happy for you, hun. And then we have Lance Stroll from 18th to 12th. So good on you, Lance. We're so proud of you. Then we have Oscar Piastri, from 19th, staying in 19th. And the same with Logan Sargent, the home racer of today. Yeah, it's a sad day for people who really do support the rookies.
It's a hard day if you're a Ferrari fan. It's a hard day if you're a McLaren fan. If you're a Mercedes fan. If you're anything but a Red Bull fan.
I am a fan of every single one of those teams that you just mentioned until Red Bull.
Sarah and I think the same on a lot of different situations, okay? A lot. Literally almost everything.
Yeah, don't
except when it comes to which teams we like and which drivers we like more than other drivers.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to put it out there. Red Bull is not my favourite team. I do support all of the teams. I do support Red Bull. I do see how talented they are. But I do not prefer Red Bull over the other teams.
This is our first episode being back. Since this is our first episode back as Cozy Circuit, why don't you, I guess you can start with like your favorite team, favorite drivers.
Well,
girl, what is happening on that side of the couch?
Well, on this side of
she is bracing herself.
On this side of the of Earth, here in the UK, is me, Sarah. Hi, I am 21 years old. I am a fan of said team, Ferrari, McLaren, and also Mercedes. I have a few favourite drivers. Well, all of them are my favourite drivers. I'm not going to lie. My favourite duo that has ever been in Formula One, Carlos and Lando. I love them. Of course, I love Carl Lando. I just love them. Which you will see, my admiration will be seen through other episodes. So stay tuned. I am a Disney adult. I am an auntie of 2 lovely kids, 1 nephew, 1 niece. What more is there else to say? I'm a weird. I'm also an animal care kid.
Enthusiast.
Yes, I love animals.
I don't know what else to call it. You're an animal.
I am an animal enthusiast. I know a lot about animals, not all facts about animals, but I will give the odd occasion of animal facts.
I may ask you this on every podcast, but can you give us a daily animal fact for today?
Oh, of course. Well, where to start? Yes, well, to tell the difference between a llama and an alpaca. Llamas are smaller and also fluffier. And they are more easy to warm up to. Alpacas, on the other hand, are taller, they're more short-haired, and they are more hard to get on with. I say from experience because of at college, when I did animal management, there was a llama who is now sadly in the heavens above. Very, very recently, she passed away. I love you, Martha. But yeah, she didn't favour me, so to say, because she didn't like people who were short and also female. But you get more personalities out of alpacas than you do with llamas.
So we've got misogynistic Martha. Anyways, let's move on. Was that your fact of the day?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I feel like I have to explain it in such way.
Okay, go for it.
Ferrari is my ultimate favorite team.
Yes, because you have one of their cars.
This is true. I will always support Ferrari. I will always hope well for them. Do I think that they will always be on top? No. I don't think any team will stay on top for forever. I think that every team will have their years of success, and when it's not, tears. Second favorite team is McLaren.
Yeah, it is.
A moment of silence for McLaren fans.
Yes, please do check up
For
on
this
your
year.
Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes fans. We are in dire help and need of having some ice cream.
Sometimes I question McLaren because I think that they make a lot of questionable choices. Specifically within the last year, we've seen
You don't say.
them letting. Okay, like this was obviously letting go Daniel Ricciardo. Signing on Oscar Piastri. I don't think that signing him on was a mistake. Oscar has earned his position in Formula One.
They could have done it in a better manner, though.
I agree that the execution was poor. And honestly, this year they just built a really car. Like, it's just a car. There's nothing else really to say about it. I think that Daniel would not have been able to do better than Lando and Oscar in this car. I think that he would still be fighting at the back of the pack for it. And that's just the car. I think that it has nothing to do with the drivers. I think that the car is just absolute this year. And then my third favorite team is kind of a tie in a sense because they're not my typical favorite teams. I just love to see them do well. So, like, yeah. I guess I would say that, like, I obviously support Red Bull more than Aston Martin because I've liked Red Bull for longer than Aston Martin. But, like, I obviously don't side-eye. I obviously support Aston Martin as well. I think that Aston Martin gets a lot of hate since Lawrence Stroll bought the team. I think that there was a lot of...
I think they're regaining the fans, though.
It's because they're doing well. I think that Aston Martin gets a lot of hate because... Lance Stroll comes from money. Lance is guaranteed the seat.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Lance earned his way to be in Formula One.
Yeah.
I think that he missed out. I think that Lance is obviously talented. He got pulled from F3 straight into F1. He completely skipped F2. I think that F2 experience that Lance didn't get, he's having to learn it in F1.
Yeah.
Which is why he may be performing less aggressively than like Fernando Alonso and like Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah.
Last year's car for Aston Martin just was not it.
It was not.
It was not.
It really wasn't.
It was not it. It was not it last year. But
Yeah.
this year they have a competitive car. They have Fernando Alonso in a driver's seat. I think that Lance gets to learn a lot differently than like other drivers because he gets that like one-on-one mentorship with his teammate because he's no other way to say this but blatantly. Lance isn't fighting for his seat. His dad's not going to fire him.
Yeah, but like, thing is, like with Stroll having like skipped basically F2, like obviously that's a bit of a, I wouldn't say it's a daddy's money's move because it wasn't.
I don't think so either.
Like he clearly is proving himself season by season, and is definitely performing very well, like especially to the different teams that he's driven for, who his different teammates have been. He's been fighting through all of that, and like since he's like from being a rookie to now, like he's definitely done so well for himself.
It's unfortunate though because his rookie season was really good to him.
Yeah,
Like Williams had a competitive car in the year that he joined Formula One, and this was before all the regulations. This was before like Williams went on the decline, unfortunately. But like Lance did very well in 2017, and then the world of Formula One changed again.
Yeah,
and it changes every year, and I think that you're either at the top or you're not.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, some rookies will have a good season, some won't. But it's all on how they face it because of the way that, like, some teams are facing, well, how some drivers have faced their previous, like, rookie seasons and stuff. Some of them have done pretty well in how to cope with it all, and some just haven't because they don't have that kind of mentality yet.
Like, I'm a fan of Lance. There's so much more potential that he has.
Yeah.
I almost feel like him being guaranteed a seat, it doesn't nurture him in a sense. He doesn't have the same urgency to learn from said mistakes. I think that he does learn from his mistakes, and I think that he is harshly critical on himself, and I think that we get to see that.
Yeah.
Because each of these circuits are obviously very different tracks. So, like, you can't take what you learned last week and apply it this week.
Yeah.
Because Azerbaijan was obviously a very different track than Miami. But
like, they've literally got like 4 sessions to learn the track until the actual full time race.
Obviously that's where like simulator work comes in.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, like, you never really learn how to do something until you do it. And Miami is one of those tracks that, like, it's the second time they're ever racing in Miami.
Yeah.
So that track is brand new to everyone. And then with them repaving the Miami track, like, the grip is different. Yeah. So, like, you can't even take what you thought last year. And the track was supposed to be grippier this year. And a lot of the drivers still complained about their grip on the track. So I think that was interesting.
It's because of, I think, of the weather. Because of, when I was in Florida, there was a lot of, like, tornado warnings, even though the tornadoes didn't even happen. So there were, like, a couple of storms. I would admit that.
I think that's something else too, is that, like, Miami's very humid. Obviously, like it's so sticky outside. Like,
it is.
It's humid in Hawaii, okay? Like, don't get me wrong, it is very humid here. But Florida's a different kind of, like,
it is. It's because of it's so built up still. Like, it's not as natural as Hawaii is, because Hawaii still has, like, the, like, lovely greenery, the volcanoes still and everything, and the lovely palm trees. Yet Orlando and all that stuff is very, very built up.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you just said Lando. And I was like, what about Lando? I was like looking out the window, I'm like, what about Lando?
Yeah, well, what I mean is, well, Florida is more built up. It's more of like an actual, like, proper city, like proper built up cities and stuff. Like, when I walked out of the hotel, I would have nice, clean, straight hair with a tiny bit of a king of curl because that's how my hair is naturally. And then I'll go to the park, come back to the hotel, my hair was curly as hell. And I was like, my hair isn't even supposed to be that curly. Like, my hair was like surfer girl hair. Like, I was like, yo, I'm popping off with these curls, but I'm gonna have to wash them out because of I'm hot and humid. I'm like, yo, I need to wash this off. And also because of I was covered in sun cream because of, obviously, us Brits, we got to protect ourselves from the sun. Everyone does. So please do cream up when you have to.
Please wear sunscreen,
yes,
even if you're indoors.
even if you're indoors.
Yeah. Did you not know that UV rays can still come through the window?
No, I don't give a damn.
Even if there's no sun and there's clouds, you can still be affected by the UV rays.
In the UK, that's completely different, hon. I'm sorry, but
Obviously, it's very different in like the UK versus here.
yes.
Like the UV level in Hawaii is very strong. I'm assuming that the UV level in the UK is low. Okay, hold on. We have gotten so far off topic now. We're talking about all the different weathers and all the different places.
It's the UK
Let's come
people's
back.
favorite thing to do.
Let's come back.
I was actually watching the race today. I saw that it was very rare to see. They were actually had the wind, like how many miles per hour or kilometers per hour. What the is a kilometer? So, like they had the amount of wind that was coming through and in what direction onto the track, and my brother was like, "Oh no, that's not going to affect any of the cars, is it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to affect the cars because if it's all outside. You're going to get wind all the time."
I think that your brother doesn't think about it as critically as we do.
Well, he doesn't see the physics, let's say.
Well, he's not thinking per se about how it affects like downforce. You know,
And I had to explain that to him. I was like, let me explain to you.
bringing it back. Who was your favorite driver of the day?
I mean, I have to say, probably, I don't want to be biased here,
You can be biased. This is your favorite.
but it's either got to be Sainz or Russell. Because Russell had done really well for himself. Like the fact that he started from 6th and worked his way up to 4th. And the same with Hamilton. Like he was very low down in P13 and worked himself up to P6. And I was like, he's done so many overtakes, undertakes as well. Oh, you know me, I love my undertakes. And seeing that many undertakes today, oh my God, I remembered why I love the sport.
Okay. What was your favorite move of today? It can be strategy, it can be undertake, it can be overtake, it could be undercut and overcut. What is your...
I mean, it has to be either the really late undertakes from Russell and from Charles, or it has to be the double overtake from Verstappen on Kevin Magnussen and Charles. Because so he's just like, you know what? Bye-bye. I'm going to go off on a straight. Like, see you later, alligators. I'm gone. He didn't think twice about it. He was like, yo, I'm gone.
So for that move specifically, and throughout the race as well.
Yeah.
But mainly because of that move, I want to say that Kevin Magnussen is my favorite driver for the season.
Yeah.
I think that K-Mag really showed us what he's reminding us of what kind of driver he is. I sat there on the couch just watching the race like, how is this possible? The multiple overtakes on Charles Leclerc. And him keeping that position for as long as he did. Obviously, Charles Leclerc ended up taking it back. But Kevin Magnussen, he fought really hard. I'm really proud of like how he performed today. And congratulations to everyone who got one of the 10,000 codes for free Chipotle, because Kevin Magnussen was in the points today. Okay, let's all thank Kevin Magnussen and Haas
Exactly.
and Chipotle. I personally don't have a Chipotle here in Hawaii, so
we don't have one where I live either.
so I didn't even try. I hope that everyone who did get it appreciates it. Thanks, Kevin Magnussen, for all his hard work. Nico Hulken-back was close, but not close enough, in my opinion, for the points. But free Chipotle.
I mean, he was nowhere close. He was nowhere close. It was 5 positions too far from getting in the points. It is what it is.
I think it's no surprise that the double overtake was also my favorite move. I think that was just...
It was chef's kiss. It was like, oh,
It was
that's
chef's
good.
kiss, yes. I think that if Kevin you're gonna hate this. I think that if Kevin Magnussen wasn't my favorite driver of the day, it would have been Max Verstappen.
You know what? He was driver of the day, so hats off to him. And also, I have to also say, as much as it pains to say this, like, hats off to him from going from whatever position he was in. He was at P9 to P1. Like, I would rather have seen him be from P20 get to P1. Like, that would have been absolutely astonishing to see. And obviously, I know that he would have accomplished it, but he did what he did today, and he got driver of the day, which he earned. And he even got fastest lap as well. So, congrats, Max.
Oh, speaking of fastest lap, kind of interesting of who set fastest lap throughout. There were so many, and I'm used to it always being Max and Checo and Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
top teams.
Yeah.
Nico Hulkenberg set a fast lap and held it for some time. So did Lance Stroll. I was very impressed with both of them. So they will be my honorable mentions for driver of the day, or at least all three of them will be my honorable
Get it,
mentions for
besties.
driver of the day.
Congratulations. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we've got time for today. We hope that you enjoyed this chaotic yet lovely first episode back as being the Cozy Circuit, in which you can follow us more of our chaoticness on TikTok and on Instagram, both at Cozy Circuit. And yeah, stay tuned for more of our content.
Bye!
Bye!